Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. This is our buddy Coop. Coop has never been in one of our videos, but he's been off camera, behind camera, all around. He comes on a lot of the trips with us. We are in Michigan right now. Welcome to our cabin. Coop's from Arkansas. Obviously, we're from California, but good fishermen have a way of finding each other. We met a few years ago. Fished together quite a bit since, all over the country. He's a phenomenal angler. Has a little different approach than we do, a little bit different mindset on something. It's just like all good fishermen, they find their niche and they really dig in. And Coop is amazing with tackle. So in short, we were out fishing the other day. He was hammering down with a vixen, throwing topwater. And kind of putting Tim and I to shame a little bit. We were throwing other stuff and just could not keep up. He just kept getting better bites. So we jumped in the box to try and track down a vixen. And when we got his box open, Tim and I both, I think, kind of did a double take. We're like, there's a lot of stuff in here that we throw. Like there's a whopper plopper. There's a rover, baits that we throw all the time. We talk about all the time. But I started seeing baits. As a lot of you guys know, I'm like a tackle warehouse addict. I'm just on there searching all the time, looking at things, buying things, trying things. But some of the more high dollar baits, you're like sketched out to buy them, So when we popped open Coop's box and saw a bunch of the stuff that we hadn't actually thrown but look at all the time, we asked if he would sit down with you guys and kind of walk you through some different baits. Baits that he has a lot of confidence in, baits that he's tried. Things that you've probably seen online just like we have, didn't know if you wanted to try them, if they were worth it, if they weren't. So he's got some unique approaches, just a different outlook and more experience on a lot of different baits. So if you don't mind, we'll just dig into your topwater box.
Sure.
Look and see some of this stuff, check it out. Let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
Right off the bat, there's a shower blows. Oh, look out. Got a shower blows, big old Sammy, of course the vixen. Is that a little shower blow?
Little shower, yeah, little baby shower.
I don't know what that is. I can see it's a Gancraft, but I'm going to want to hear about an S. Why don't you tell us about that bait, and I'm going to keep digging through your box if you don't mind.
Okay, so this is a Gancraft S caper, and I kind of got hot on this bait after I spent a little time with the jointed claw, which I really like as a bait, just an alternative to the river to sea to the S waver, which, as you guys know, these guys throw a lot, and kind of want to offer them something a little bit different. But the S caper is a little bit different than some of your traditional walk the dog baits like the Sammy and the Vixen, and the fact that with the taper on the body, when it walks, it actually kind of dips a little bit. And again, not exactly sure what that replicates in nature, but I know it gives the fish something a little bit different to look at.
So you're saying instead of like that standard walk, it's got like a...
Right, yeah, it does walk like a traditional bait, but as it walks, and again, I don't know if it's the way that it's weighted. I don't know if you can see that in camera real well, but it has three really big tungsten balls that stay. They do move. They're in a chamber, but that chamber, instead of coming all the way up the bait or 3/4 of the way up the bait, like some of these baits have, they stay primarily right at the tail section. And what that does, that causes the bait to really sit at an aggressive angle. And then when you do go to walk it, it kind of dips as it walks. Mm-hmm. And so you're just showing them something just a little bit different. If they've, become conditioned to some of the more traditional stuff like a Sammy, maybe those fish have been caught by a Sammy or been poked by a Sammy, and, that creates a negative experience in their mind that they probably don't forget for a while. Mm-hmm. And so, you can kind of come back and show them something a little different and catch them slipping, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. So. Now, last night we were picking your brain. Before we even agreed to get in front of a camera, Tim and I were picking his brain on some of these baits. And you were talking about the difference between like a vixen and a shower blows. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about walking around docks. Mm-hmm. Can you relay that conversation basically? Because that was amazing information.
Yeah, so a big thing, so taking the S caper out of the equation, you know, if you take a lot of these walking baits, like a shower blows or a vixen or a Sammy or a rover, they're all walk the dog style baits. We all probably work them in a similar manner. So what it boils down to, it boils down to sound and it boils down to color. You know, I'm not real big on color when it comes to topwater baits. Kind of go light and kind of go dark and really don't kind of mess with the in between stuff a whole lot. So the biggest thing for me is action and sound. And the shower blows, even though it does have the cut mouth, so it does give a little spray and kind of spit a little bit. But for me, the biggest difference between the two baits that I throw the most, which are the vixen and the shower blows, or rover, which is very similar to the vixen, is the sound. And you know, the reason that I went for the vixen the other day is because we're out here again in northern Michigan. We're fishing wide open flats and long tapering kind of reefs, and we had, well, let's face it, we had no idea where the fish are.
Right.
We're pretty lost, and so you know we're not target casting whatsoever. We're trying to call the fish up from a distance, and we're getting pretty desperate, really. And so the vixen just has, you know, that classic the vixen knock that we all know and love. And it calls them up from a long way. So that's kind of why I go to the vixen in open water. Again, I'm from the Ozarks, so you know, think Bull Shoals, Table Rock, high mountain, you know, deep clear lakes where you're calling fish from a long ways. You know, you want that loud knock. When you don't want that, or what I found is, again, we have a lot of floating docks, a lot of metal docks, and all those metal docks have metal roofs on them. And one particularly still morning, as I was going around throwing a vixen, throwing a topwater, it was just, you know, those mornings, it's dead calm, it's silent, nothing is stirring yet, and it's just you and nature and your vixen. And I couldn't help but to notice every time I got near a dock that I could hear the reverb off the roof of that dock. From that vixen knocking, and it was just like, it really caught my attention just how loud and gnarly that bait is, which is why we love it in open water. But you know, I thought maybe it's a bit much for these fish on this calm, cool, quiet morning when everything was so still. And so I just happened to dig in the box, and even though the shower blows has, you know, big rattles as well, but they're confined. I mean, it's different plastic or different chamber or different materials. I'm you know, I'm not an engineer. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it has. I'm sure, I hope you can hear that on camera. But here's your vixen, and there's your shower blows. It's a very similar pitch. It's a similar tone that we know those fish, you know, like and associate with food, but it's just
nowhere near as loud.
Yeah, it's toned down and it's quieter, and sure enough, no more than a handful of casts into the shower blows, those fish showed themselves, and we started catching fish when the vixen just absolutely wasn't getting it done. And again, it's, you know, I asked some of the fish, they never talked back to me. So, but all I can do is assume that maybe the vixen was just a bit much that morning, and I really think it was the reverb coming off the roofs of those metal docks, because we're casting very tight to those docks, and you could really hear it, you know, coming off the roof of that dock, and it made a world of difference. And so, you know, in those cases, and ever since that day, the evergreen was my go-to bait in those situations, with when it's quiet, when it's calm, when there's metal docks around. I reach for the shower blows now. Almost every other time, it's the rover or the vixen, or even the Sammy. You know.
This is why we want you guys to hear some of what Coop has to say, and I mean, there's a pile of baits here, and I don't even know how many of them we'll talk about. But it's just a different approach, right? We all the time, Tim and I are telling you our preferences, but we tell you at the same time that you've got to try it on your water. And Coop is fishing very different water. He has a different approach, a different outlook, different baits to start with, and it's working. he sees a ton of success, and that's why we wanted you to hear that other perspective from different fisheries with different baits. Let's jump into some more of these. You had a look on your face when that came out of the box. So tell us about that one.
Yeah. So this is a Megabass Dog X Diamante, and I've always been a fan of the Dog X and the Giant Dog X, which is should be one in here somewhere. So so this is a Giant Dog X. I guess giant has a different meaning in Japan than maybe it does over here. But I love this bait. It gets bit. This one definitely shows some signs of wear. But it just wasn't quite big enough. It's a good spotted bass bait. It's a good smallmouth bait. But I wanted something a little bigger, and I was very, very happy when they came out with the Diamante. Excellent bait. It's virtually silent. I think the balls are in there just for waiting. I don't know if you can hear that, but just very a tame bait, almost silent bait. And again, I can't. I'm not a scientist or a fish. I can't say the reason why they prefer a silent bait over your traditional knocking baits. Very similar in size to the traditional baits that we're all accustomed to throwing. But it's just something a little different. They kind of flared out the gills a little bit. You just get a little bit different action, and again, it's a lot quieter. So, I would kind of relate it to shallow water, shallower cover, maybe flooded brush in the spring, that sort of stuff, or a hard bottom again, where a Vixen with that loud knock might be a little too much. Where the Diamante is a lot more toned down. So,
right.
Yeah.
And my big takeaway with all of this, because I own a lot of these baits, but there are baits here that I see online I do not own. Didn't invest the money to find out whether or not they worked, and seeing them here, hearing you say, yes, I throw that one a lot. Here's why I throw this one, just gives me that confidence when I have a little extra cash and I want to throw an extra bait in the cart to see if it works, that I've got a better starting point than I had before. There's a bunch more out here. That one keeps catching my attention. It's a Yellow Magic Havana. I have seen that bait. Every time I buy Yellow Magics, I look at that one.
Right.
I had never seen it in person.
Right.
And how does it compare to some of these others?
And again, same thing with Matt. I think we're both kind of tackle junkies in that regard. Same thing, when you're buying your Ricos and your Yellow Magic, you just you
got to add one more bait.
Yeah.
How are you going to get a free T-shirt with that?
Yeah, right. You got to hit that. You got to hit that free T-shirt mark. So, so I always saw the Havana. I bought it, and to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with it. I think I kind of bought it in the off season, and for some reason or other, just didn't break it out probably as much as what I should have this year. It does have a few teeth marks on it, so I have thrown it some. But, to be honest with you, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time with this one yet. So,
all right.
To be determined.
You spent a little bit of time with that Vixen. Good Lord.
Yeah, spend a little time with the Vixen.
Beat the paint clean off the side of that one.
Right. So,
what else is up here? You throw that one much?
Again, that's a newer bait too. I actually threw that one with Tim last time we were up here. And it is. That's a good bait. When the wind is blowing, and there's some chop on the water, and you kind of start running into issues. Maybe throwing a Vixen where you're following your line because of the wave action, or you're kind of losing track of your bait, and you're worried about the fish being able to track it. This pompadour is golly, if they can't track this thing, then they're gonna go hungry. But just a lot of commotion. Big metal wings. They kick out and kind of walk and do the side to side. And if that was enough, then it has a little prop on the back as well. So just a really cool bait. Definitely has its place. Definitely a fish catcher. You definitely need to have some of this. We all have our comfort zone. Everyone's comfortable with the walk the dog style baits, but you know, it's good to break out of that every once in a while. And this is a really fun bait to throw. And some of the eats you get on it are pretty epic. So yeah, get some of the crazy stuff too. Step out of your comfort zone. It's a lot of fun, and fish will appreciate you showing them something different every once in a while.
Right.
And that bait definitely does the trick.
Well, for the sake of time, I pulled out some more. Is there another one or two that stand out to you? And if not, that's okay. If they do, it's all you.
You know is that a?
I think that's an Arashi.
Yeah, the Arashi. Yeah, the bow stick, and again, that's another. Has a little more size, or maybe not.
Yeah,
a little bit. Huh? Yeah, they're pretty similar. I was thinking those a little bigger than Vixen. It probably has a 1/2 inch or so on it. Again, I don't know why, but you know, if you feel like you're training your fish, or you're educating your fish, if you fish similar waters a lot, maybe you used to smash them on a rover or a Vixen or a Sammy or a spook. And again, the bow stick, and that bite's tapering off, and you're not sure why. You feel like those fish are still there. The bow stick, and again, it's another great action, great casting bait, and just
that's kind of a high pitch bait, huh?
Yeah,
totally different sound.
Yeah, so
interesting.
You have the big tungsten knocker, and then you also have a couple smaller ones in there, and again, just completely different sound. You know, and again, if they've had a negative experience with the deeper, then hit them with something a little different, and you know, maybe get them to slip up one more time for you.
Awesome. You know, another takeaway that we had right off the bat when we popped his box open is, and I think you thought we were going to make fun of you for all of these hook protectors, but they're honestly, they're genius. I don't use them. My boxes are a complete disaster. I'm about to start using them because of how easy it is to get everything in and out of this box. Quick tip, if you don't use those things, I mean, can you see how many Topwater treble hook baits he had crammed into one box, and you can just take them in and out? Yeah, that was genius. Yeah. I don't know why I've never done that. He says, yeah, I know that was genius.
Yeah. So, but it really helps, and like you guys mentioned yesterday, in the rain, when you pop your box open in the rain, we've been getting dumped on for 3 days in a row here, and you know, you can get in and you can get out in the rain, not get the less moisture you get in your boxes, the better.
Right.
So, and again, that gets you in and out of there quick. So
that's awesome. You know, guys, a little bit different video. We've got a lot of respect for Coop. We've seen the damage he can do. He's got a bunch of baits that we don't throw, and it was eye-opening for me. It was eye-opening for Tim, so we know it's eye-opening for you. Just that little confidence builder where you've got somebody holding a bait. You've seen a picture of it. You've never seen it in person. You've never seen a size comparison. And you've got somebody going, yeah, they eat that. It's good information. It gives me the confidence to try some different things. I'm sure it'll give you the confidence to try some different things. We appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Down in the comments, you can say thank you to Coop. You can let us know you want to see some more stuff from him. Whatever you want to say down there, we do read all those comments. We appreciate you taking the time. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.